Thank you very much, John. The Chancellor of USP, Ulu Tokelau, Aliki Faipule Keresiano Kalolo, the keynote speaker for this forum, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of James Cook University, Professor Sally Kift, DVC Research and International, Professor John Bithell, deans, professors, heads of schools, chairs of sessions, the manager of the STAR project, who has done a lot to organize this year's forum, everybody participating through USPNet, throughout the university network, friends, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to add my own very warm welcome to our Chancellor, because it's not often that you have the Chancellor sitting in at forums like this, and many of you may not know, but the Chancellor is an expert on education, and the education portfolio is under him, and so I'm delighted today that through circumstances, because he's here for the graduation, and he is going to the graduation in Solomon Islands, so we are very fortunate to have you, Chancellor, with us. I also extend a very warm welcome to DVC Sally Kift. It's our privilege to have you here. And in the morning when I met her, I was saying to her that we wanted to have somebody speak to us who'd actually got a National Teaching Award in Australia. And she has got that and a lot more than that. So I think we are very privileged today to be able to speak, to be able to hear somebody like Professor Kift. And also, we are very fortunate that today she will talk about the first year experience, because we know that we lose a significant number of students because we don't take care of the first year experience as well as we can. And so it is a very important part of what we do, and today we will have a dialogue about how we can benefit from some of the best practices in that area. I also want to thank all of you for coming in good numbers, because I was just having a quick look around, and I think I see about 100 people here, which is a good number. So I'd like to thank you very much for being enthusiastic about what we are here to do, and to be able to dialogue with experts and to showcase what we do here, so that we have a collective mission, a collective agreement among ourselves to really improve what matters to the students most, and that is the quality of our teaching and the quality of the learning experience. John is right. This is the fourth forum, and I have spoken at all of them, and so I just wanted to recall the first one I actually gave a significant PowerPoint presentation, because at that point in 2009, I was trying to make sure that the university could share in the vision that we were creating. We were working on the strategic plan. We had to give an indication of where the university needed to go. And then 2010, we wanted to focus on the idea that in 2018 we'll have our 50th anniversary. It is a milestone, and we needed to do something significant so that when we come to it, the region can celebrate something exceptional. And so we were talking about from good to great. Then I decided in 2011 to not give a PowerPoint. And I think many of you were quite pleased about it. But I about the STAR project, because that is how we were managing the transformation, and that is how we are managing the transformation in our learning and teaching. Well, this year I've decided to give a short PowerPoint because these are important occasions for me as Vice Chancellor to be able to share with you where we want the university to go and where we want the major shifts to occur in what the university is doing. Because we are beyond the time for incremental change. The change around us is dramatic and unpredictable. And only those institutions that are agile and are prepared to take drastic action and to have major transformation will be the institutions that will survive and prosper. And so that is why I thought that I have a significant few ideas that I would like to see the university pursue. And so I thought that for my part, I put that forward. Many of you will remember that at the retreat earlier this year, we talked towards the end about dramatic changes taking place in the world. These changes were primarily and very significantly about technological changes and how, well, the speed of these changes and how this technology is permeating our lives and how it is affecting our youth and how they give the opportunity now for us to align what we do at universities to what is commonplace for young people. There's been a dramatic shift also in what the institutions like universities do, because in today's world, the content is becoming less and less important. And that is what our strength has been as universities. We are the generators of content. What is becoming very clear is that there is a whole lot of content and very interesting and high quality content that anybody can access. And that leaves the university with the question, so what is it that the university really adds value in? So I want to pick up this theme about rapid technological transformation, major changes in pedagogy, and what does it mean for USP. And I suggest that this calls for a decisive and a very full response from USP. And this is what I want to explore for the next few slides. Now, one of the people who has really made a lot of difference is this person called Salman Khan. And many of you would have read the Time magazine list of 100 most influential people in 2012. And he's out there. Now, taking a quote from that Time magazine, from a closet turned office in his Silicon Valley, so not working from a lecture theater like this or the facilities we have. Salman or Sal, and he's 35, so he's young, and that is where we need to focus a lot. That is where the energy and the creativity is going to come from. He's produced a library of online lectures on math, science, and a host of other subjects. In the process, he has turned the classroom and the world of education on its head. With his organization, and of course, the write-up for him was done by Bill Gates. He used Khan Academy to educate his children, became enthusiastic enough to fund that very significantly. and he wrote the section for him in Time magazine. So this chap is somebody we should watch, and the academy is something from which we can benefit. So I suggest that all of you, if you do one thing after this forum, is to look at that khanacademy.org. I apologize for the small fee left there. I was struggling with my text and the photograph, and it just sort of got left over. The other very big story shaking everything up the universities do is around open education resources and things that these kinds of people are doing. This is Professor Sebastian Kroon from Stanford University. He made headlines because he decided to open his course to 160,000 students everywhere in the world, free of charge. Free of charge. And unlike the previous arrangement where MIT said, look, these are my materials, you can follow these, you can audit the course, but you will not get assessment and you will not get certification. He changed all of that. He actually provided the assessment and he provided certification. I think we should all pay attention to what is happening there. Now this is what he said, and I think it's interesting to look at what great innovators are doing. He took these 160,000 students, made it open to the rest of the world. He shows what they did, and I want to say this because we are spoiled for resources at USP in many ways. We always complain about not having resources. But the real innovation is coming from people who have much less than what we have. But they have the spirit of innovation. So these guys are recording at night, doing all these things, and they graduated 23,000 of those students in a very technical area, artificial intelligence. Okay. What he decided that in that one course he had more impact than he had during his entire career in terms of reaching out to people. He decided to leave his job, form an independent organization called Udacity, which is a play on audacity, and he's now providing free, fully certified courses. Okay. Stanford and MIT have formed a consortium, so the open education resources have moved to the next stage. From here is the material, you can take it, to saying we will actually provide the teaching, we will provide the assessment, and we'll provide the certification. Now just imagine if tomorrow Stanford and MIT made their courses available in the Pacific, what will happen to USP? So we need to think well beyond, okay, I've written my course and the students will take it, because they won't. The world is opening up, the technology is opening up, the bandwidth is opening up. And so we really need to think about how we can harness all of these opportunities and how we can particularize the value we add as a University of the South Pacific to the process, so that when competitors come into the Pacific, we still have something more valuable than what they have to offer. And that's our challenge. I keep on saying after the financial crisis, nobody can be secure about anything. We always thought that Lehman Brothers could never fail. They did. People are getting written off and they're being forgotten. And these were iconic things. So we should not assume that we or any university will continue in the same mode, because the changes are unprecedented. and unpredictable. Now, at USP, we've always had a context in which we have relied on technology. And from 1972, we have relied on USP.net. We were among the early institutions to focus on technology. And we have invested very heavily in USP.net upgrade. And what we now need is a coherent teaching and learning policy that leverages these assets and recognizes the challenges that I have just described. Now, in the short term, we have a number of initiatives going on, and you will hear presentations later on. We need to move ahead with M-Learning initiative, and we need to roll out the tablets that we are planning to do next year. It's a very important thing. I was at the Commonwealth of Learning. I came across, in fact, just before the Ministers of Education met. They told me about a tablet from China costing $70 for a run of 200. So if you buy 1,000, it's going to be much less. They had an expert who put it all together, and I just had an email from the President of Commonwealth of Learning because I wanted to ask her, how did the experiment of paperless conference go? The ministers got everything put on this $70 tablet, and she told me that it went on very well. I think we need to roll out the tablet and experiment with providing our students with these technologies, with the course material, and with open textbooks, open education, free textbooks, because a number of them are becoming available. We will have presentations on open education resources, and I'm very glad that a large number of colleagues went to the World Congress on Open Education. We need to really make that part of our main activity rather than as an adjunct to what we may be doing. I think that the course writing that we have been doing all these years, we need to really turn it on its head. We do not want to talk about course writing anymore. What you're doing is actually assembling from a very rich variety of high quality materials and constructing an exciting learning experience for the students. And these materials can reside anywhere. And we'll be running training workshops where we will show how the course writing, course preparation cycle can be cut down to as short as 3 weeks. From what has traditionally been at least a semester, if you're lucky. And I've known ourselves through a time when it's taken much longer because something came up and the staff didn't write the course. We need to not fight some of the social media. We need to leverage them, and we need to basically accept that the young people will learn much better if you work with them. And so if you make learning more exciting, more fun, we have to hold their attention and we have to engage them. We will be far more successful. Obviously, we can only succeed if the whole USP system can access those technologies, so we need to focus on providing equity across the university system. And this is a constant problem at the moment. We set up a vision of technology, liberal learning and teaching, and of course people can't get through with their email. So we will have to fix it, and my advice to everybody is the bandwidth will be made available, and we will not compromise on what we can do simply because today, this month, we don't have enough bandwidth. There are huge developments taking place in the Pacific in terms of fiber. Tonga will get fiber in April, Solomons and Vanuatu possibly by the end of the year, next year, and that will change the configuration entirely. So my vision is keep on pushing that, and in fact I'll find some money between now and end of next year to make sure that we have enough bandwidth so we don't demoralize our staff in their attempts, and then the world will change very significantly once we have fiber. We have already adopted a shared partnership model for educational innovation where CFDL and the deans and the faculties and heads of schools will all work together. And if you really look at around the world, some of the greatest innovation in learning and teaching is going to come from the faculty. It needs to come from the faculty. You need, Professor Trun did not come from our organization is specifically set up to do that. He was just an exciting professor, and he wanted to experiment with that. And that's what we want to see, is empowering people across the university, letting them experiment without too much bureaucratic imposition, seeing how that works, and then spreading that across the university. Also, when you look at Khan Academy or what Professor Trun did, it's actually a very exciting partnership between young IT professionals and academics. And that's what we need to cultivate here. And the IT professional is no less involved in it. They're all major partners in this. Now, obviously, one of the things that I have reflected on myself is that we promote a vision and we develop a plan. We need to provide more opportunities and spend more time institutionalizing our expectations. So in the new plan, there will be significant opportunities for staff development. And we need to make sure that we can assist people to get to where they want to. We want to provide incentives. I don't know how exactly that will happen, but we want to incentivize the university right across so that it becomes a more agile, more enterprising, and more proactive provider of solutions to our region. And of course, we need to do a lot more research in some of these new pedagogies. And one of the interesting things about the Stanford experiment is that they are doing research. In fact, one of the things you find is that the kind of research they are doing is breaking new ground in the way that traditional research happens. And one of the things they have discovered is that the attention span in a video is around 6 minutes. And that runs completely counter to our idea of a 50-minute lecture. So we need to really encourage, and it's very interesting that Professor Trun is doing this, but also doing research at the same time. And that's what we need to develop a culture here, so that institutional research is very much part and parcel of our practice. Okay, so thank you once again for coming this morning and for listening to what we want to do. And I hope that you will give that some attention. And I hope that you are as excited as we are about all the opportunities. I mean, every day people ask me, but how do you not get weighed down? I don't get weighed down because I see opportunity more opportunities than problems. And I see a lot of very committed and competent people. And I think if we can work across the university in terms of nurturing that innovation, in rewarding people for their loyalty and commitment, in encouraging a culture of innovation, and putting the student first. Sometimes we can think about ourselves and about the technology, but it's really about whether it serves the students in the way they want to be served, not in the way that people like ourselves, who are not that young anymore. We want to create the world in which the young people must behave in a particular way in learning and teaching. So I think this is an interesting debate that we should all be part of, and I hope very much that you will pay attention to all that is going to happen today. We'll hear from Professor Kift about her experience. She's got outstanding expertise. We'll hear from you because there is some very interesting and innovative work that is going on. And part of our success is going to be to become a learning institution. And I always say that we are not terribly successful as a learning institution. We may be an institution of learning, but often we are not a learning institution. And I think if we can learn from good practice, we learn from our colleagues, we will be that much more successful. Thank you very much.